Hi everybody, my name's Alex Morales, and today I'll be discussing World War One. Some topics I'll be covering in this presentation are how the war started, key battles that helped shape the war, and basic training the US soldiers had to go through before being deployed. World War One started because on June 28, 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife were killed by a Serbian nationalist. This was of importance because Archduke Franz Ferdinand was the heir to the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Austria-Hungary, a month later finding out the news that Serbia had issued the kill, declared war against Serbia. Within a week, Russia, Belgium, France, and Great Britain had joined Serbia and were ready to go to war against Austria-Hungary and Germany. The United States during this time remained neutral but still provided supplies to all countries involved in the war. World War One was fought on two fronts, the Western Front and the Eastern Front. Two big battles of the Western Front included the Battle of Tannenberg, which Russian soldiers were unsuccessful in driving Germany out of Poland and East Prussia. The biggest battle of the Western Front was the Battle of Marne, where Russian soldiers were successful in driving Germany out of France. This caught Germany off guard because they thought they could just take France without a fight. This Battle of Marne lasted over 3 years with millions of casualties and was a big fight of the Western Front. The Eastern Front was fought between 1914 and 1916. Russian soldiers tried to push back the Germans' Eastern Front, but were unsuccessful. During this process, they lost a lot of Russian lives, which led to outrage in the Russian community because the poverty rate was high and the death rate was high, and they didn't want to be a part of the war anymore. This led to the Tsar at the time getting overthrown and a new regime being put in place. This new regime withdrew from the war, and the prisoners were released. The reason the United States reconsidered joining the war was because Germany continued to bomb cargo and passenger ships on their way to the British Isles. So not only were they putting our cargo at risk, they were putting United States citizens at risk by bombing those ships. So this made the United States reconsider their stance on the war. On April 2nd, 1917, they declared war against Germany. This was right after the US government had approved a $250 million budget to build a military to help in the war efforts. The tactical training to become a United States soldier during World War I was not very extensive. They tried to train as many people as quick as possible so they could get ready for the war, and they didn't have a lot of time, so they focused on group exercises, which included digging trenches and marching. Other 5 assessments that they also included were the 100-yard dash, an obstacle course, a grenade toss, a wall climb, and a running broad jump. You may not think these are very important, but a couple modules back, Professor Borum interviewed Marine Chris Weiss, and his big thing was being able to shoot, move, and communicate. And these 7 drills that they did helped move and communicate. They had to learn to shoot on their own, but having these 2 out of the 3 is very important for the success that the United States had when they won the war. The turning point for World War I was the Second Battle of Marne, where the United States were able to push Germany out of Marne and back into Germany. This was the end of the war and the last fought battle in the war, and this caused the Germans to wave the white flag and later go on to sign the armistice in France on November 11th, 1918. We now celebrate November 11th as Veterans Day, which honors military and the sacrifices they've made. Casualties during World War I, over 15 million people died and 20 million people were injured. Out of the 13 million German soldiers that were part of the military to start World War I, 7 million died, which is over 50%. And here are the sources I used throughout the presentation. Thank you guys.